In this video, we are discussing the best states to retire to in 2023. Hey everybody, I'm Johnathan Rankin with Theorem Wealth Management, where our goal is to help you maximize your retirement. When it comes to retirement, there are many decisions that you're going to need to make, from figuring out when to take your Social Security benefit to deciding how much you're going to spend in retirement. The choices can be pretty overwhelming, but one decision that can have a very big impact on the quality of your retirement is where you choose to live. I mean, think about it. Have you ever heard the saying, home is where the heart is? Well, the same goes for retirement. The old saying isn't, home is where the work was. Many people relocate for work throughout their career, and it takes them to places that they never thought they would end up when they first started out. I mean, that's exactly what happened to me. I was born and raised in Sacramento, California. I went to California State University of Sacramento, and when I was in college, I would have never imagined that I would live anywhere else aside from Sacramento. And then immediately upon graduating, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and a little over a decade later, I moved again to Dallas, Texas. Where you end up for your career might not be where you want to actually spend your retirement. In fact, according to a recent study, over 234,000 Americans moved to retire in 2022. That was up 4% from 2021. And 1 in 8 retirees who relocated did so to cut housing expenses. And with the high levels of inflation that we've seen over the past few years, cutting costs can be extremely important when it comes to your long-term retirement success. Last year, Florida was the most popular state to move to, followed by North Carolina, Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia. Now, those might be the most popular, but are they actually the best state to retire? When you break down what people actually want in retirement, it really comes down to 6 things: affordability, safety, culture, access to good healthcare, good weather, and proximity to family. Now, some of those things are highly individualized, like proximity to family and possibly even healthcare if you have a specific specialist or a need that you have to be close to. To help break down the best states to retire in, WalletHub released their list of the most retirement-friendly states in the country. What they did is they compared all 50 states across 3 key dimensions: affordability, quality of life, and healthcare. They evaluated those dimensions using 47 relevant metrics with a different weight based on the importance of each metric. Each was graded on a 100-point scale with a total score of 100 representing the most favorable conditions for retirement. So when you think about those 6 things that people want in retirement, WalletHub went a step further and attached measurables so that you can quantify each aspect. The affordability dimension could have a maximum score of 40, and it took into account things like adjusted cost of living, tax friendliness, and the cost of in-home services and adult day healthcare, among other things. Now, the quality of life dimension included factors like elderly-friendly labor market, access to public transportation, mild weather, access to adult volunteer activities, among other things. And finally, the healthcare dimension considered the percentage of fully vaccinated residents, the availability of healthcare professionals, and the drinking water quality. Each state was given a score, and based on the weighted average of all the metrics, and the final ranking was determined by the overall scores. So based on that number, the number 1 state to retire is actually Virginia. They had the highest total score. Right behind them was Florida, Colorado, Wyoming, and Delaware. Now, the top 5 list is a lot different than the list of where people are actually moving to, which was Florida, North Carolina, Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia. Based on the metrics in the WalletHub study, Florida ranked number 2, North Carolina number 12, Michigan number 28, Arizona number 20, and Georgia number 27. That's a big difference between the metrics and what people are actually doing. That's because the study weights factors in a way that may not be how you would rank them in importance. For example, the cost of living is only 25% of the total affordability dimension, and tax friendliness on estate or inheritance tax accounts for 12.5% of that same dimension. So if you weren't planning on leaving a large inheritance, or that's just not a priority for you, then that might change how you view a certain state. In fact, because of the weightings, it might not tell you the whole story. For example, many studies show that Hawaii is by far the most expensive state based on cost of living. But in the WalletHub study, the affordability dimension ranks them at 38th most affordable instead of dead last. That's why it's important to understand the metrics that go into studies like this before you make any major decisions. Because what might be important to you may not be what's measured in studies like this. Now, if you want to see what the worst 5 states are to retire, make sure you check out this video coming up, and I'll see you there.